Hi guys, Riley Ringgold here with Team Ringgold over at Keller Williams. I wanted to take some time today to explain the foreclosure process with you guys. We follow foreclosures pretty closely here at Team Ringgold, and here recently we have helped a lot of people avoid the foreclosure process. Those past clients that we got out of the situation, we're pretty thankful that we were there and gave them the education that they needed to avoid the foreclosure process. So I figured I'd educate you all as a bunch so that maybe if you know somebody going through foreclosure or you're going through foreclosure yourself, you'll be more equipped with the knowledge to handle it and at least know that there is somebody here to walk you through the process. So first things first, foreclosure doesn't happen overnight. You won't get a knock at the door and say you're in foreclosure from your bank or from the police department. The first thing that happens is you're going to miss your first mortgage payment. Whenever that happens, you have about 15 days grace period before the lender will actually ding your credit score. So the 15-day grace period happens on the 16th day you still haven't paid, and say on the 17th day you pay, you're all caught up as far as your mortgage payment goes. You will have to pay the late fee, but on the 17th day you are going to have a late payment recorded on your credit report. And if you don't make that payment on the 17th day and you actually make it on the 30th day or the 31st day, you're actually going to have a missed payment on your mortgage. That's going to reflect negatively on your credit score. If you don't make that payment on the 31st day and then you miss the payment the second month in a row, you're going to ding your credit even more, and you're probably going to get a letter from the bank demanding payment. At this point, they're only asking for 2 months of late payments and late fees, but if you don't have the means to make that happen, you may find yourself in a predicament. 90 to 120 days after the first missed payment, you're probably going to get a notice of default. And that notice of default basically says, hey, you defaulted on your mortgage, you didn't pay us back like you promised you would, your loan is now in default. And shortly after that, the mortgage company is going to petition the courts for a foreclosure. In this petition for foreclosure, you're going to see a couple of things. You're going to see your unpaid principal balance. You're going to see any liens, tax liens, mechanics liens, whatever are on the property. You're going to see additional attorney's fees and additional interest. In that petition of foreclosure, the lender is also asking the courts to move through and put a judgment on the borrower. Now, up until that petition or foreclosure, there are a couple different things you can do to avoid actually going into foreclosure. One, you can pay the balances. So if you come into some money, ask somebody to borrow some money or whatever it is, pay those past 2 or 3, 4 months late payments that you have. That'll keep you out of foreclosure. If you can't come up with the money, don't stick your head in the sand. Be sure to talk to your lender and work out some kind of payment plan. They might be able to work with you on taking those payments later or modifying your loan. Those are all options up until the petition of foreclosure. Once you have that petition of foreclosure and the courts grant judgment to the lender, your options are more limited. Now you have to pay the entire unpaid principal balance plus the interest, plus the attorney's fees in order to keep the home. So once the judgment is granted, 14 days after that judgment comes out, the lender is going to ask the courts for an order of sale. What the order of sale means is that the county is actually ordering the sheriff to sell the property in an auction. Before the auction happens, the sheriff has to advertise the property for 3 consecutive weeks to the public. This is an ad that usually goes in the newspaper. In that ad, it will say the location and the time and date of which the house is going to be sold. And that's called the sheriff's sale, when your house actually goes to the auction. Up until the sheriff's sale, you still have a couple of options of getting out of foreclosure. You can, 1, sell the home on the open market. This is only feasible if what you owe is less than what it's worth on the open market. 2, we can work with the bank to do a short sale. Some people get confused and think a short sale is when we do a quick sale. That is the exact opposite. A short sale is whenever we talk to the bank and we get them to accept less than what is owed. This takes a lot of paperwork on your part, and it takes a lot of time. Sometimes after we get an offer on the property, it could take 3 to 6 months to actually get it closed with the short sale. This does hit your credit, but not as bad as a foreclosure or a bankruptcy would. Before the sheriff's sale happens, if you have nowhere else to go and you can't sell the home, I would highly recommend talking to an attorney about a bankruptcy. Just remember, a bankruptcy can further destroy your credit, much equal to the foreclosure process alone. With either a bankruptcy or a foreclosure, those 2 items are going to sit on your credit score for at least 7 to 10 years. And this may inhibit your ability to rent or buy real estate for the next 7 to 10 years. But if you have to stay in the home and you have nowhere else to go, this may be an option. Once the sheriff's sale happens, this is a turning point. The property will either be sold back to the bank that you owe the mortgage to, or it'll be sold to an investor that bought the property at the sheriff's sale. Working with the bank at this point is no longer an option. The property's been sold and you have to pay off the judgment or the bid price at which it's sold for at the auction. Now, just because it's sold doesn't mean you have to move out and you've now lost your property. There is a saving grace called the redemption period. This is a period that could be 3 months to 12 months, of which you have time to redeem the property and pay off that judgment. There are a couple different ways to do this. We can sell the property on the open market, sometimes for more than what is owed, and you get to pocket your equity, or you can sell the property to an investor to keep the foreclosure off your record. This really depends on the real estate market, how much is owed, and the condition of the property. If you still haven't redeemed the property by the end of the 3 months, you will be evicted and you will lose all equity that was in the house. I know it can be a scary process, but there are options for you every step of the way. Too many people think it's too big of a problem to solve. They stick their head in the sand and they hope the problem will go away. Foreclosure is not a problem that will just go away. There are other options as well, such as the Kansas Homeowners Assistance Fund. This is a fund put up by the state where you can apply online and they can give you grant money to catch up on your payments. You're only able to do this before the sheriff's sale. So if you find yourself in a situation where you've missed 1 payment, you've missed 2 payments, now you've missed 3 and 4, and you're getting scary letters taped to your door, there are solutions. So reach out for help. Either call your attorney, call your real estate agent, call your lender. A foreclosure is something you don't want to go through. So I hope this was helpful information. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to comment down below or send me a direct message. Send me a text at 785-817-9724. Like I said, we've helped a lot of people in the past, and we're